Hey everybody, welcome back to Screwball, a baseball podcast, your home for everything baseball. I'm your host Mike Lepre, here with my co-host Frank White.
Hey, how's it going?
This week on Screwball, we got a lot of news to talk about, a little bit update on the playoff picture, a little update on the Mets ownership, a whole bunch of stuff in between. So let's get started with the first piece of news, most relevant piece of news to the actual game of baseball. Number one, this past Sunday, Alec Mills tossed the second no-hitter of the year and the 16th no-hitter in Cubs history. Mills, an unlikely candidate for the no-hitter, was a 22nd round pick in the 2012 draft and has been part of the Cubs organization for 3 years now. The only blemishes in Mills' start was a walk to Keston Hiura. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, I believe so.
Daniel Vogelback and Ben Gamble. That all coming from MLB.com. So Alec Mills throwing the second no-hitter of the year behind Lucas Giolito.
And to go along with that, he's kind of been out of the bullpen at times. He hasn't really been a full-time starter. He's kind of been back and forth. There's actually a little piece of history here for you. This is the first time in MLB history that the White Sox and the Cubs both threw no-hitter in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the oldest franchises in baseball, with the Cubs 16 no-hitters and the White Sox having their share of no-hitters and a perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that they would just kind of cross paths at some point. But this is the first time that the White Sox and the Cubs threw no-hitter the same year.
Yeah.
And it's only 60-game year.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
So it's
Of
just
course.
even the short, less chances, and they do it.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
So
So, yeah, I mean, Lucas Giolito, obviously, I would think more of a candidate than Alec Mills. I mean, a good pitcher, but, when you think of, before the season, we try to predict who's throwing a no-hitter, perfect game, whatever. He's not the first one that comes to mind. So, good for him. Good for the Cubs. They got 16. That's I didn't even know they had that many. And it didn't come from errors, which I've seen some starts where guys will give up no-hitters on errors, which is always, that always sucks. So just 3 walks, and he was pretty untouchable that game. So good for Alec Mills and good for the Cubs. Moving on to our second piece of news. On the same day, on Sunday, we got another big piece of history. As you know, previously on Screwball, we discussed Albert Pujols climbing up the RBI list. Recently he's been climbing up the home run list. He officially tied Willie Mays on the all-time home run list at 660, and will almost surely pass him shortly for sole possession of 5th on the all-time list. So really all he has left in front of him is the 700 club with Bonds, Ruth, and Aaron, and then Alex Rodriguez at 696. So he's really 5th all-time in home runs and so second all-time in RBIs. I mean, he's Hall of Fame. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a unanimous Hall of Famer at this point. I mean, Pujols is unbelievable.
yeah, I think he's. I'd put him as the best first baseman of all time.
Yeah.
And I'd take his 10 years over anybody's. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, his prime with the Cardinals.
The fact to go along with Pujols here, he is the only player in MLB history to have 660 plus home runs and 660 plus doubles.
Yeah, that's insane.
So out of those few, there's only 5 of them have 660 home runs. He's the only one got the doubles as well. And I believe he's 5th all the time on the doubles list.
Yeah.
So he's climbing up that list as well.
Yeah.
So he's passing a lot of good people, a lot of great players on a lot of high lists.
Yeah, he's got, I think, he's got now he's going to be 5th in home runs. He's probably going to pass the RBI list, I would think. He's got a good shot. Doubles, like you said, he's 5th. Who knows how high he can get up that list. I'm not too familiar with the list itself. And he's got 3,200 some odd hits. I mean, he's going to be top 20, top 15 in hits.
I think he's like top 20 in every major category.
Exactly.
Category. I mean, obviously triple, going to be on there, but doubles, home runs, RBIs. I'm sure runs. He's up there somewhere. He's one of the greatest hitters of all time, and I think he's the best first baseman ever play baseball. Really.
Yeah, he's that's definitely an argument.
Yeah, if you want to make a team, I'm taking him.
Yeah, you want
as my first baseman.
Like 04, 03 Pujols. You could pick any year really in that early 2000s. You could pick any year.
Yeah, there's few. Lou Gehrig. There's a bunch of guys that you could pick from. Obviously, first base has been such a great position.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Thomas and guys like that. But I'm taking Pujols.
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking twice about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's fine. He's in the bat 3rd or 4th or wherever. I don't care. He was a Gold Glove fielder when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
He used to steal some bases.
Mm-hmm.
Never had speed, but he just outsmart you.
He was
still 5 to 10 bases, just like Yadier Molina. He had no speed, but he'd still steal 5 bases a year, just because he'd outsmart you. He's the same way. Great base runner, great fielder, clutch hitter.
Yeah, good for Pujols. I'm sure we'll maybe even by the time this podcast goes live, he'll already have sole possession of fifth. So don't be surprised if he's already sitting at 661, 662.
Yeah.
You know, so congrats to him, and hopefully he keeps going with his career. Hopefully he can even get to the 700 club. It'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3. So this is going to be a pretty lengthy quote here coming from ESPN. Just a little heads up. So this is regarding the playoff bubble coming up within the next few weeks here. According to ESPN, the MLB postseason bubble plan is official and is awaiting approval by the union. Quote, under the plan, the World Series would start October 20th at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, and would end no later than October 28th. It would culminate a month of playoff games that begins with the top 4 seeds in each league hosting all the games in a best-of-3 wildcard series. The 4 American League Series would run September 29th, September 30th, and October 1st. And the National League would play September 30th, October 1st, and October 2nd. The highest remaining seed in the NL would play its division series in Arlington, while the next highest seed would face its opponent at Houston's Minute Maid Park. The top seed from the AL would be the home team at San Diego's Petco Park, while the other series would be held at Los Angeles' Dodger Stadium. The AL Championship Series would take place in San Diego, and the National League Championship Series in Arlington, giving the NL's top seed, likely the LA Dodgers, a path to a stationary October. So quite a mouthful there, a lot to digest. So it seems like, you know, the postseason bubble sticks obviously in the warmer climate, which is good. It sticks in Arlington, which is a dome, which helps. They also play in LA, in San Diego, Houston. So they got it really set up. It really looks like it could help the Dodgers a lot. Other than that, I mean, obviously the Rangers aren't going to be in it, so they wouldn't get home field in the World Series or nothing. So I think the fact that they picked Arlington to be the World Series, it's definitely going to be neutral ground. You know, there's no way that they probably figured that going in. Not only is it good, you know, geography where it is, but it also helps that, well, that team's kind of out of it. So
yeah, I think they should have they should look into it a little bit and see that no team should play a home game in the playoffs. After the 3-game thing, you know, the 3-game wild cards, and you're supposed to play home or whatever.
I
After
agree.
that, nobody should play. So even if the Dodgers, LA is a choice, they should have to go play the Angels.
Yeah.
So they don't have the actual home field. Even though it might not have fans and probably won't have fans. But they still don't get the home field.
Yeah, there's that familiarity.
Yeah,
you know?
so I think they should maybe adjust that. Because otherwise you're giving, advantage to the Astros if they play, with Houston. And you get an advantage to the Dodgers and whoever else. So I don't like that idea. I like that, the bubble city doesn't really mind me too much. But they should affect the way that a team shouldn't play at their home stadium.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not fair.
I agree. It's a little strange. Like you said, there's no fans, so there's no like fan advantage. You know, you don't have the rah rah in your ear, but the familiarity of coming to the stadium, your workout routine, the locker room, the actual field itself, the dimensions and everything.
Any travel at all.
Yeah. So
your own clubhouse, your own dugout. That's the thing. Did I get to be? If you play in Dodger Stadium, did I get to be in the home dugout, in the home clubhouse, or did I go be in the away clubhouse?
Which
They're
is
gonna have the home clubhouse, I would say. So
you would think.
It's gonna be like home for them. It's an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
Even if it's 1% unfair.
Yeah, even if it's just the morale boosts from it, it makes a difference.
The ball bounces off the wall. The dirt is. The ground crews are. It's different. So they should look into that.
Yeah,
that might be the only way the Dodgers can win, having some sort of help like that.
Yeah, of course.
But they should look into that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see the problem with just making it. Here's the Angel Stadium. It's like it's in the same city, so I don't understand what the problem.
It's
with...
a nice stadium.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Dodger Stadium's old. I know they tried fixing it up, but Angel Stadium's nice.
Yeah, I do like the Angel Stadium
and stuff like that. Dodger Stadium is more the it's Dodger Stadium.
Yeah,
it's like the old Yankee Stadium or even Fenway.
Yeah,
you're not going to Fenway going, wow, this is beautiful. It's Fenway.
Yeah,
that's why you're there on there, and that's why you like it. You can't tell me it's a nice stadium around, but it's
historical landmark, really.
The memories and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's where I just hope they adjust it a little bit, keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I agree. Without fans, you should just try to play neutral ground for whatever team it is. So, and if you're picking California, how many stadiums are out there? Played
Colorado.
Open.
Play all the playoffs in Colorado.
Oh my God, the ball would launch.
Yeah. Oakland.
Yeah, that's what I say. Oakland.
All of them, all the sewer.
They'd really know how much they need a new stadium. if
Yeah,
everyone played at Oakland.
Yeah, yeah, you'd have quite a mess.
All right, so yeah, look out for the playoffs coming within the next few weeks. You really got already our playoffs, so look for just a little heads up where teams are going to be playing if your team's in it. All right, number 4. This is really just breaking news. This got announced just before we started recording here. This is a tweet from Ken Rosenthal. I thought this summed it up as best I could find. Quote: The Mets announced an agreement to sell the Mets club to Steve Cohen. According to Sportico, Cohen will own 95% of the team, with the Katz and Wilpon families retaining the other 5%. So Cohen being the way majority owner. I'm still a little, new to the news. Both of us are. This is breaking, but I didn't really keep up with the selling of the team. I know A-Rod and J-Lo, they looked at it. Obviously, I'm sure he's got the money for it. But Steve Cohen is as long as 23 of the 30 clubs agree, he will be the owner of the Mets, and that whole saga is finally over. Do you have any opinion on this? I mean, do you have any? I don't know if it'll really make. I don't know how much of a difference it'll make.
I think it's going to help the Mets. More money, different ownership. The Wilpons have made mistakes in the past. They have done an okay job at times. They have made some big mistakes. I think what's weird about this is he's going to be 95% owner.
Yeah.
I think that might be the highest owner percentage, maybe in all of the major sports.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So most of them are they own 42%, if that. They own 35%. Everyone else owns 5%. And there's just a bunch of them.
Yeah, it's just a majority ownership, and that's it.
There's just 12 people that own it, but he or she owns 40% of it.
Yeah, because let's be honest, to own a ball club, it's not just here's millions of dollars. It's here's billions of dollars. This is, you know what I mean? It's a lot of money.
So I think that's something to take a look at. But someone new, excited to join in. And, I think he's going to spend the money that the Mets have. That the Mets have. The Mets have money.
Well, it's a New York team, yeah. Sure.
So they'll spend the money that they have, even though they cried for years that they don't have money. So that should help them. Can't really go the other direction too far because they're not really haven't been that great. But that should be good. It should energize a fan base that just doesn't have nothing.
Yeah.
It really hasn't.
I know.
Every Mets fan's well, we're the Mets. That's about it.
Yeah.
Anything after the Mets is usually or oh boy, or good luck, or a laugh.
Yeah.
So if they could turn that around a little bit, that'd be good for them.
Yeah, because really the only thing they've had to look forward to in the last, since 2000 was 2015. Well, they had,
and that came out of really nowhere.
Yeah.
Wasn't a good? It was supposed to be a good team, but not to the World Series in the hunt of it.
Yeah.
And everything good that was supposed to come always turned into nothing.
Well, yeah.
Harvey.
Yeah.
Right now, let's be honest, Syndergaard. Don't know.
Cespedes.
And you can go farther back. Roberto Alomar. Mo Vaughn. Jason Bay. You keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
Even Beltran.
Yeah.
People like to say, I think Beltran did good there, but Beltran. There's a lot of things you can go into here. As the manager, Beltran.
Yeah.
Because that didn't, what happened. So
that could have really worked for them, too.
Yeah. And then the teams with Willie Randolph as the manager, and they blew both leads in those 2 years.
07, 08 or whatever.
Yeah, jeez. Everything that looked good for them always went south. So this is a new start for them. If there wasn't a new stadium, this guy would come in and build the best stadium in the world. It would be like what the Rams did, their ownership. Come in, take a team, here's the best stadium. So they already have a great new stadium, so that's not going to happen. But it's going to be good for them. It can't be worse.
Yeah, that's true.
And, I am a little happy that the Wilpons did keep 5%.
Yeah, so that they
get kind of like their family thing, and good for them.
Yeah, I agree. I was surprised when I first saw the 95%. I knew that was a little abnormal. I'm not too familiar with the ownership. Obviously, you would think that the cost of a team, multiple people would own it as opposed to just one really rich, dude owning it or woman. So 95% a lot. We'll see. Maybe he moves some pieces and gets office people in the right spot. Gets maybe a health staff around the team.
I think there's going to be big movements. The GM, I think's out of there. I already think this head coach is gone.
Yeah,
don't be surprised if you see a lot of these players gone. A lot of players.
Yeah.
Some guys who kind of been floating around. It's a Syndergaard's time to go because he hasn't really done anything for you yet. Diaz, guys like that. Are they already gone? So I think there's going to be a lot of moves. He's going to come in and just do what he wants and you can't blame him. It's his team, 95% of it.
That's true. It's up to him. It's his, it's his brand and his ball club, So who knows? Maybe they start a rebuild. Not, because they're kind of like, I don't even know what to call them. They're not really competing, but the GM makes a lot of moves.
They're right where the Yankees retool was. They're right there. They just have to pull the right strings, and so far they really haven't. This year doesn't really help 60 games because you can't really do much.
Yeah,
but they have to do something like that. They have pieces there. To fully rebuild doesn't quite make much sense to me.
Yeah,
it would almost be like how the White Sox did, because the White Sox I didn't think really needed to do that. They had a pretty good team. They just need some pitching. So if they did, they would have to be. It would do something like the White Sox, where it's like you have so many pieces. It should be a quick rebuild.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to do that though, and I don't think they should.
No, they got a pretty good ball club.
They're going to trade some pieces away, and they're going to make some moves. I don't think this coach is going to be there. I don't think the GM is going to be there. A lot of the front office isn't going to be there. A lot of the coaches, if not the whole coaching staff, is not going to be there. You're going to see a lot of scouting guys out the door. Minor leaguers are going to change. Everything's going to change over there. They might even get out of. I think their minor league teams in Reno or in the Reno League. I think that'd be big for them to get out of there, just because they always say something bad about the Reno League and how the ball's different and all that crap. So maybe they change that. There's going to be a lot of changes to the Mets. You might not see it right away. The change, like the big outcome for the professional team, might take 2 years, 3 years, but you're going to see it. It's going to be impactful. I think they're going to help, and the money's going to be there.
Yeah,
they're going to go out. Don't be surprised to see them make big moves this offseason, though.
Yeah,
they'll get a big player. Like here's a bunch of prospects at Arenado or Lindor, something like that.
It'd be something.
Like, I'm the owner. Here we go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's change what we've been doing, and let's get after it. Because they do have a pretty good ball club, just missing some few pieces and some luck.
Syndergaard,
really,
Rosario, a couple minor leaguers, boom, you got Lindor.
Yeah, I mean, you got the pieces to move to still have a competitive team. So to make a move like that, so that'd be pretty exciting. And I know that the Mets fan base, obviously, it's New York fan base, so it's very fervent. It's they could use something like that right now for sure. Especially with the Yankees have been good for how long now.
I think that would be good for the Yankees as well. To bring a New York rivalry there.
Yeah, that's true.
It would just give them, because Red Sox rivalry, I don't care what they say. Even if the Red Sox are good, there is no fighting no more.
No.
There's none of that. They're buddy-buddy. It's always something different, though, about having a team in your city or in your neighborhood. So.
Yeah, you want to be the big brother, Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, good luck to Steve Cohen and good luck to the Mets. And obviously, it is cool. The Wilpon family still holds on to a little bit of that. Even if it's just 5%, it's still kind of like a...
It's in the family.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they did a lot of work there. They built the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell?
So they should deserve 5%. I built that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep a little of it. She's like, dude, you got like $78 billion, dude.
Yeah.
Give me like $1,000.
Give me something.
Yeah. So.
All right, moving on to the fifth piece of news. I got some injury updates here. Unfortunately, number 5 on Saturday. Matt Chapman was placed in the 10-day IL and was scheduled for surgery today on Monday the 14th to repair a strained right hip. This is obviously a big blow to the A's, losing one of their biggest bats in the lineup and their best glove on the field, maybe probably the best glove in the league. And obviously we wish Chapman a speedy recovery because, man, is he a lot to lose to that ball club. But really to the league. He's a big loss just to the league as a whole.
What a team the A's are, and losing Chapman, just disappointing.
Yeah, I was when I heard the news, I was like, oh my God.
Because the A's are good, but if there's any team that can overcome that and get some guy, who the hell knows where, and come in and just hit like 30 home runs and like 7 at-bats, it's going to be the A's. I think they signed Jake Lamb, so that's what the A's do.
Yeah, about like 300.
Yeah, Eric Chavez will come back and something, and he start going crazy.
Yeah.
So, don't count him out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's a shame.
Yeah.
But to go into some other injuries, stay in the same topic here. You got Sonny Gray on the IL.
Yeah, it sucks.
G-Man Choi for the Rays.
Good.
To go along with Matt Chapman, Chad Pinder.
Yeah.
Who would be a guy who could probably fill in over there. So he's hurt as well. Spencer Howard for the Phillies are one of their pitchers and one of their higher prospects. That's going to hurt them because the Phillies are right there on the cusp.
Yep.
You got Dustin May. Got hit in the foot. They don't know if it's broken. They don't think it's broken, but he's day-to-day. Probably going to miss a start or two.
Yeah.
Always got to watch that with a pitcher with a foot injury. Especially, some serious cases. You see Chiming Wong's career was never the same.
Well, plus, I mean, look at Dustin May, the way, I don't know what foot it was, but his big leg kick, and it was kind of herky-jerky.
It's bad because you're pushing off the rubber, you need strength there. And landing, you all your body weight on one foot.
So. Yeah, so not great either way.
Yeah. You got Sean Doolittle and Tyler Rainey.
Mm.
Nationals aren't doing anything,
No.
but they're bigger name players. So,
Mm.
always mention them.
Sure.
And a little bit on the good side of injury news. For some people, I guess.
Mm.
Altuve, Verlander, Judge, Stanton, and Gio Urshela, some of the bigger name guys who've been hurt, they're all on the verge of coming back, and they could all be back by this weekend.
It'd be awesome.
Those are some big names.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people don't like those two teams. Some people really don't like the one team. But those are big name players in the league. So you don't really like to lose them.
Yeah.
So they're all on the verge of coming back.
Yeah, having Verlander back on the mound would be great, especially for the Astros. Maybe Altuve comes back, turns it around. Maybe that's just what he needed, a little time off to get his head straight, because I think that might be what's really happening is he's just not in the right headspace.
He was playing better.
Yeah.
Before you hurt. And you never know. Maybe his knee was bothering the whole time.
Yeah, that could be.
So, we'll take we'll see.
Yeah, and then obviously got the Twin Towers and Judge and Stanton for the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees need, obviously they've been playing better, but I mean, to have them in the middle of the lineup is irreplaceable. And Urshela, obviously, with his glove. So,
to go off some of the injuries, I might as well go into the playoffs, because a lot of these players are in teams who are either in the playoffs or on the cusp of playoffs or whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go into the playoff picture a little bit here. I'm not going to go into it fully like we did last week. We just want to go into the, right at the bottom there. So in the AL, the Yankees are the 7th seed, Indians are the 8th seed. They're both tied in the record. Yankees, they have the 7th seed, so I guess they have some sort of tiebreaker of some sort. The Mariners are the 9th seed. They're 4.5 back, so
yeah,
that's about it for them. But they're the first team out, which is good for Mariners. They're on the verge of maybe making the playoffs at some point.
Yeah, I mean,
because they haven't made the playoffs in forever. The 10 and 11 seeds are both the O's and the Tigers, and they're both 5.5 games back. So the O's getting swept by the Yankees put them right out. But you never know. You really never know.
Yeah.
Mike's tattoo hope is still alive.
No.
But those teams to compete all year is good. It's good for the franchise fan base, the young players. So that's good. To switch over to the NL side, 7 seed is the Phillies. The 8th seed is the San Francisco Giants. Somehow. The 9th seed is the Rockies. They're the first team out. They're a game and a half out, so they're right there. The 10th seed is the Brewers. They're also a game and a half out. The 11th seed and 12th seed includes the Reds and the Mets, and they're 2 games out.
Yeah.
So you have 4 teams, 6 teams vying for 2 spots.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, and the Reds probably have some of the most talent out of those teams.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe the Reds, Phillies, Brewers, and Pirates. So Rockies. So I would say the Reds, they've 2 games out. I know they played bad, and I know we talked them up, and you guys probably think we're stupid, but they're good. They got a good team. They just something's wrong.
Yeah, something's
just not clicking at the same time. So if they ever get hot, they could be right in the playoffs and cause a ruckus.
Then this would be the time for one of them teams too, especially like the Reds, to get hot and kind of propel themselves right into the playoffs, and they could really run it,
And you know what a team reminds me? It really reminds the Rockies when they did it in the real season. When they went all the way to the World Series against the Red Sox in 2007.
Yeah.
They could do it again. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I've seen it once.
As if their pitching gets hot, because they're hitting, I'm sure their hitting could carry them regardless. But if their pitching gets hot like it did in the beginning of the season, look out. Because, oh my
Wade
God.
Davis is back.
Yeah, he is.
So maybe that's the key.
Him and his 8 ERA now.
Yeah, I think it's higher than that, but I'm not going into it too much. But before I send it back to you, I just want to throw in some hot and cold teams. So you can throw in your hot and cold teams. Start with the White Sox.
Yep.
They've been red hot. The Twins, same division. Always seems like 2 teams in the Central have been hot at the same time this year.
Yeah.
The Yankees.
Thank
won
God.
5 in a row.
Thank God.
So they're back with injuries kind of coming, injured players kind of coming back. So maybe they get hot at the right time. So that'd be good. The Mariners.
Yeah.
I think they're 7-3 in their last 10 games.
Yeah.
How about that? And the Angels. Not too late, but it is. I think they're 7-3 in their last 10. And then in the NL, the NL's kind of been muddled this last week or so. I think everyone's been like 5-5, 6-4, 4-6, and no one's really been hot or cold out there, but except the Padres. I think they've won 7 in a row. I think they won 8 out of the last 10.
Yeah, they've been red hot for how long now?
Yeah. You just gotta watch because they've been hot a little bit now, so they might just got hot a little too early.
Yeah, they might hit the brakes at the playoffs,
Yeah, so gotta watch that. And a few cold teams like throw out there. The Indians are not playing good. I think they're 2-8 in the last 10. The Astros have been bad.
Yeah.
I think they're 2-8 in the last 10.
I think that, they're under 500, ain't they?
Yeah, they've been bad. They're in the playoffs, but they've been bad.
Yeah, well, it's because the West is, you got 3 teams out there that.
The Tigers have been struggling a little bit. Giants, I think, are 4-6 in their last 10, which, like I said, most of the NL's kind of in the same area.
Yeah.
Rockies, I believe, are 4-6 in the last 10, so I wanted to mention those guys. And the Brewers. And that's because I think they're 4-6 in the last 10, and they just got no hit.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Might as well throw them out there. But the NL's kind of been muddling the last 10 games. Everyone's kind of been right there, except the Padres. Even the Dodgers, I think, are 5-5 in the last 10.
Yeah, which, I mean, for them, though, I mean, you finish the rest of the year 5-5, or really 5-5, and then you kind of get a little hot towards the end. I mean, that's really what you want. So that actually leads well into my part of it. Who's doing the best right now? Dodgers still own the best record in the league, sitting at 33-14 with a 702 winning percentage. New team in the AL, the White Sox, now own the second best record in the league and the best record in the AL with a 30-16 record and a 652 winning percentage. The Rays are obviously still right there. A's are still right there. Teams like that, but the White Sox, how about that? Dodgers still own the best run differential, and they're at a plus 103 right now. And the Rangers got company. The Pirates are now tied with them for the lowest run differential at negative 73. Right behind them at negative 72 are the Red Sox. So all kind of making sense. Dodgers still always at the top. White Sox, we've been talking about, are red hot. They're number 2. And like we always, the Pirates, I knew it wouldn't take them long to be in the run differential talking point. So why don't we move on to our next segment of who's hot and who's not? And obviously, I like to include the players of the week on here, but Alec Mills, I don't usually include pitchers on here. He won player of the week. Obviously, we shouted him out, obviously, in the first piece of news. So let's get into my 5 hitters that I got here, and then I know you got some too. Mm-hmm. So number 1 guy I want to talk about, Alec Bohm for the Phillies. Batted .452 in the last week, 500 on base, and an 1177 OPS. Alec Bohm really, I believe, started out pretty ice cold to start the year, and it's good to see him finally coming around and kind of becoming part of that ball club and really hitting well in the NL. Number 2 behind him, no surprise to see this guy really on any good hitting list, is Freddie Freeman. In the last week, he batted .464 with a 571 on base and a 1500 OPS. So Freddie Freeman, I mean, I love Freddie Freeman. He's a great player. So no surprise that he found himself on here.
And with him, I thought was crazy. He went like some crazy amount of games, 600 games or something, in a Grand Slam. His first career Grand Slam.
Oh, yeah.
And then he hits his second Grand Slam 2 games after he hit his first one.
Yeah. Weird, right?
Crazy how it goes like that.
Yeah, that's just baseball.
Yeah.
Number 3, I thought this guy, I don't know why he didn't get enough credit. I thought he was going to be the player of the week, but Rafael Devers batted .520 in the last week with a 520 on base and a 1480 OPS. I just, maybe he didn't have a whole heck of a lot of at-bats compared to the guy that won player of the week.
The team's not playing well.
Yeah, that's true. He's kind of just relegated to, hey, he hit good for the team with 15 wins or whatever they got. I don't even know.
Negative 70 runs or whatever you said before.
Yeah, negative 72, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Number 4 is Brian Anderson with a 500 average, a 594 on base, and a 1219 OPS in the last week.
He made a great play out there, too. The ball skipped off his third base.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great play.
Yeah, Brian Anderson's a good player. I mean,
he's one of the higher third basemen. It's just that third base is such a packed position. Just like shortstop.
Yeah,
it's
that's
a packed
true.
Position. Otherwise, without Chapman or Arenado, he might be right there at the top.
Oh, yeah. I don't think he gets enough attention paid to him. I don't think he gets enough credit. Yeah. The last guy I want to talk about, this guy I just always have on my fantasy team, and it's good, of course, to you that we don't have fantasy. He hit good this week. I think he's been hitting pretty good all year, if I'm not mistaken, or at least decent. Michael Franco.
Oh, yeah.
Batted .433 in the last week with a 438 on base, a 1.004 OPS. So Michael Franco, just a little shout out there for the Royals, I believe he's playing for this year. Yeah, I don't know why you always have him on my fantasy
he
team.
He can mash the ball.
That's when he's hot.
He can just crush it.
I know.
So
that's who I got. My top 5.
Yeah, I'll throw a few out there. Gotta throw Whit Merrifield because he was so bad last week. We talked about him. Now he's red hot, so gotta throw him out there. We also gotta put out there Miguel Rojas.
Yeah,
because he's been good all year.
Red hot.
Yeah, he's something else. He is something else. And then J-More Candelario.
Yeah, one player of the week.
Yeah, he batted over 400 this week for the Tigers. So there's a few guys there you don't really think of. Well, Merrifield maybe, but he had a cold week last week, so I wanted to mention this week.
Yeah.
To go along with that, I have a few pitchers who've been doing good. They include Sixto Sanchez.
Yeah, he's been really good.
Yeah, really good. Alec Mills. Not just because of the no-hitter, though. I think his last start, he had no earned runs as well. So he's been pitching good for a couple starts here.
Yeah,
really has. Outings, I should say. John Means, who has been struggling a little bit this year as a whole, but his last few outings, he's been pitching well.
Yeah.
Chris Bassett, he's been pitching well pretty much the whole year. And Jay Happ for the Yanks has been one of their consistent starters these last 3 weeks.
He's been one of them stoppers. You know, they have a losing streak or whatever, and they really need a win. Happ's really been consistent out there, big starts.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just doing what they kind of wanted him to do when they got him. So, good for him.
All right, well, let's move on then to the not list, the cold players of the week. I got a few on here that we've had previously on the cold list and the hot list. So number 1, I got Ronald Guzman. Hasn't found his way onto either of the lists so far this year. Batted 154 in the last week with a 241 on base, a 511 OPS, so not obviously the week you want. Number 2 behind him, Nick Castellanos. Had a 160 average, 192 on base, 432 OPS. Could obviously relate to the Reds, their struggles. Could maybe, Castellanos can't keep it up all the time. He's going to have his cold streaks. Number 3, found his way onto both lists. Miguel Cabrera, find his way on the cold list again. He had a 125 average, a 250 on base, and a 375 OPS. So he just, I guess, just each week he decides, I'm going to hit this week or maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. It's no in between.
Yep.
Number 4 on the list, Joey Votto. Had a 167 average, 231 on base, 564 OPS. Votto's had some, obviously he's getting older, had some struggles, but I think overall, I think he's had a pretty good year, if I'm not mistaken.
He's been doing all right. I think he's like 240, 250. He's just kind of muddling, which is what the Reds are doing. But you look at Castellanos, struggling. And Votto struggling. And Sonny Gray on the IL. And you can kind of see why the Reds have been not doing great.
Yeah, because all of a sudden you start saying, well, shortened season, Votto's hitting 300, and Castellanos is hitting 300, and Mike Moustakas, all these guys that are out there. But now you start to say, well, Sonny Gray's in the IL, Votto's not hitting great this week, Castellanos ain't hitting great this week, and it's just the pieces start to...
wasn't really playing great for a while. I think he's starting to play better now, but
for
a while there.
I think he was really ice cold for a while, like Gary Sanchez ice cold. Like,
wow. But yes, concept-wise, yes.
The last guy I got on here is Austin Meadows for the Rays. I had a 136 average last week, 269 on base, 633 OPS. I think overall Austin Meadows really hasn't had a good year as he can, as we've seen out of Austin Meadows this year. If I'm not mistaken, the last time that the Yankees and the Rays played, and I actually paid mind to his average and his stats, I think he's not having a great year, which is a shame because he's a great player. I actually like Austin Meadows. So. And
the Pirates, I just don't get it. I really didn't get why they did that.
No,
last time with Meadows for Archer.
Ugh,
what a franchise turning moment, really, for both teams.
I agree.
But look at that. Yeah, some guys that I have on my cold list here. Ramon Laureano. There's a Ramon, not playing well. Bryce Harper. He was batting like 320 for a while there. Now he's down like the 240s, I think. He was really cold.
I thought he was like an MVP candidate early on. Like he was really like,
He really got cold there. So that really, stunted them. Anderson Simmons been struggling. And Carlos Correa for the Astros. I think he's like 130 or 170 for the last week. Some pitchers, Zach Greinke. So you got Carlos Correa and Greinke and Altuve hurt.
Bregman hurt.
Yeah.
Verlander hurt.
That's a good reason why the Astros have been struggling this year.
Oh, shame.
Yeah. Yeah. Trash can feels fine, though. He hasn't got hit this year.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Another cold pitcher, Carlos Martinez for the Cardinals. Jose Urena. He's been pitching not great his last couple starts here.
Yeah.
Charlie Morton hasn't really had a good year at all. A couple injuries, and his ERA is way up. And Kyle Wright for the Braves, who they're looking for pitching, and he's not pitching great right now. So you can kind of put some of these things together and kind of see why some of these teams are hot, some of these teams are cold. Like we did for the Reds, like we did for the Astros, like we did previously with the Yankees. You can kind of put some of these together and see why these teams, usually there's not like everyone's hitting good. Why are we not winning?
Yeah.
Unless you're the Angels. Angels seem to kind of be that team.
Yeah.
You get Trout hitting 300, and Rendon hitting 300, and Pujols doing all right, Fletcher hitting 300, and then you still don't win.
Yeah.
So,
poor Angels.
Yeah. But you can kind of put two and two together when we go through this list, and you kind of see why things are happening, which is good.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I got there. The last thing I want to go into is our trivia question.
Yes.
And
Ray Schalk. I already got it.
Nope. We're not going to go to Ray Schalk. We're going to talk about Ray Schalk. I don't understand. I just don't understand. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Oh man, we gotta contact his family, see if we can talk to them. I'm sure they're great people. I just don't get it.
I understand.
But let's get to this week's trivia question. And who is the first guy? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. All right. So who was the first guy to play all 9 positions in an MLB game?
Will Ferrell.
No. Ray Schalk. No.
Oh my God.
But and the answer is Bert Campaneris, and that was on September 8th, 1965. He was a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Over 2,000 hits, over 600 stolen bases. I mean, he was a good player.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a quality player. I thought this fact was crazy about it.
Okay.
They did it kind of as he's a utility guy. Hey, he's good. Maybe we kind of just play him in all 9 positions. Kind of like a little thing for the fans. Kind of like a little attraction, but still kind of competitive. You know, wasn't like out of the ordinary or like really crazy. You know,
mm-hmm.
But he pitched that game for an inning or whatever whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure exactly, but he pitched with both hands.
Yeah,
He threw lefty to lefty hitters and pitched righty to righty hitters.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Played all 9 positions, played the whole game, and pitched with both hands.
Yeah, it's cool.
So it's crazy. And 5 players have done it. 9 positions in one game. I think the last being Andrew Romine with the Tigers.
Yeah, I remember Romine doing it. Yeah, sure.
I think Tigers had 2 guys do it in their history. But
that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think one was in 2000.
Oh, okay.
Shannon Stewart or something like that. I don't remember
Makes sense.
Now. But yep. So the first guy to play all 9 positions in an MLB game is Bert Campaneris.
Yeah, it is kind of a cool thing for the player and for the fans, for the team. It's kind of like
quality player.
Yeah.
Not just a a Ray Schalk out there.
Oh my God.
He was a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Over 2,000 hits, over 600 stolen bases, and part of some pretty good teams that played with the A's.
Mm-hmm.
So part of some of their teams. So he was a good player and pitched with both hands.
Yeah, that's the part that you told me that surprised me. I knew he did it. When you said the name, I knew he did it. But when he pitched with both hands, I mean, that's awesome. That's that's cool.
Yeah, I'll never forget when that guy came up, Pat Vendetta.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I never forget when he came up. The newspaper came out or something. They were talking about him, and they're like, "This guy's amphibious." That's not right.
Yeah. All right, Yogi.
Yeah, this guy's not amphibious. He doesn't breathe, in the water on land. He's ambidextrous.
Yeah.
But I always love that. So now every time I ever see something like that, I always say amphibious.
Yeah.
Just because it's fantastic. How could you print something like that and just mess it up so bad?
Yeah, look at his glove. He's amphibious.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Come out there. That's Pat Vendetta. He's amphibious.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, look at his gills.
Yeah. So that's this week's trivia question.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't. I knew the guy. The only reason I knew it was because Will Ferrell pulled that stunt where he did the 9 games, 9 positions, or whatever. He kind of did I think it was a thing for charity. I think he did it for cancer, something like that.
Spring
so
training.
yeah, so I knew the guy. I remember he called him out a few times in the it's like an HBO thing. I think they did. So I knew the name. I couldn't think of it. And then when he said it, I got pissed at myself.
Yeah. It's a pretty crazy thing. You don't really think about it too much.
No.
There's 5 people have done it.
I'm surprised it's even that much. Like it just seems like almost like a sideshow type. You don't think, especially in today's game, to play all 9 positions. I mean, that's insane.
But how many games have there been played in MLB history? Give me this is 5.
Yeah.
So what's there been? Like 16 perfect games.
Yeah.
Right? Is it 16?
It may even be more than that, but yeah, it's right around there.
Right in the teens there. No hitters. I think Mills is with the 305th no hitter.
Yeah, there's a lot of no
take
hitters.
The games and the percentages there, cycles. I mean, immaculate innings. All these crazy stats. There's only been 5 people who've done this. 5.
Yeah, it's a pretty exclusive
Out
club.
Of, all the players and all the games.
Yeah,
the percentages is if you see that, I mean that's unbelievable. Man, you're in that Tigers. You're at the Tigers game. You've seen Romine do it, Andrew Romine. I mean, that's the 5th guy. You've seen something that maybe only a couple thousand people have ever seen live. So
it puts it in perspective because there's been like 20, 25,000, 30,000 players that ever played Major League Baseball, and there's only like 5 guys that have ever done that, which is a pretty cool club.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why I brought it up there. I seen it and I was like, that's, and the pitching with both hands, both arms.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That really made me like, yep, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So that's a trivia question though.
Cool. Well, I think that's a good way to wrap it up. We got our little Ray Schalk reference in there.
Just don't get it.
You have anything else that you want to end with, or you want to get the hell out of here?
You know, the thing is, last week I forgot to, talk about it. We had, 9/11 was on Friday, so you like to, do a remembrance there.
Mm-hmm.
We were young, kindergarten.
Yeah,
but I still remember exactly where I was.
Me too,
where
actually.
It all started, but it was in kindergarten.
Mm.
That's how old we were. I always try to catch up on some documentaries and pay some respect to them. So I missed it last week, but I want to mention it this week. I just want to throw that out there. Our buddy Brian Camp, who we had on one week, his birthday was last week.
Mm-hmm.
So happy birthday to him. And football's back.
Mm-hmm.
Football's back this week.
Yep.
So, and the Raiders are 1-0. So go Raiders. But yeah, so I just want to throw those last couple facts in there. I know we're a baseball podcast, but we do like other sports.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they, intertwine with each other, especially this year with the COVID.
Yeah, I mean, you got baseball coming up to the... Baseball's really in where they would be for the season, and football's where they would be for the season. You got all that.
Yeah.
And you got NBA and NHL playoffs, so...
Yeah, and on Thursday, it was last week Thursday, every sport played.
Mm-hmm.
Every sport was played the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer, baseball, basketball, hockey, football, even racing, even NASCAR racing. It was one of their truck series, but every sport was playing.
You know what's
same day, first time ever.
You know what's funny about that? I woke up, I showered, and I was on my phone. I was just drying off, and I'm in the shower, and I just thought, I was like, oh yeah, football's back on. I'm like, I bet today's like, I don't know why in my head I was like, I bet today's like the first this has ever happened.
Yeah.
With all the sports. And then I seen you retweeted something with that stat, and I was like, yep.
Yeah, it's
of course.
First time. I would think. I think golf had a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I think tennis had the big tournament.
Yeah, WNBA.
Yeah, WNBA. I mean, everything was going on that one day.
Mm-hmm.
I think college football was going on.
Yeah.
Because they always play, some special days. Like high school football's back in state. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
Everything was going on.
Yeah, it's insane.
In that one day. So that's never been done before. So
yeah,
put it out there. So all those special notes there to wrap up the episode. But that's pretty much it for me. So
cool. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna go check out some Monday Night Football. As always, you can catch this podcast every week on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. You can catch this show on YouTube, our regularly updated YouTube channel, and as well as our website, screwball.podbean.com. You can follow me on Twitter at @RealMikeLepre. You can follow me on Instagram at Mike Lepre.
And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at FDubs10.
You can follow our official Screwball Twitter at ScrewballPod. You can follow our official Screwball Facebook at ScrewballPod, no E in Screw. And that's it from us, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yep, take care.